I'd like to thank you for inviting me on the show. It's such an honour to be here, and I'd just like to say that when I'm not playing Xbox with my mate Thor, I really like to listen to my favourite podcast, Pop Culture Pasta. Hey Dave, I'm thinking about doing another revolution. Do you want to join up? I might need some help with organising the pamphlets though.
Pop Culture Pastor.
All right, Cody, we're back here for some more geekery, and we got a lot of geekery to talk about. There's been a lot of our favorite things in the news. Plus, we reviewed Masters of the Universe, the new one that we're going to talk about in the bulk of this episode later on.
We do.
Yeah. But first, I should say this is Pop Culture Pastor, the podcast. I'm Dave. Cody is here.
I am present.
And we are joined once again by Lance Burnett. What's up, Lance?
Hello there.
Lance is a fellow Gen Xer, therefore, by default, much cooler than Cody.
Sorry.
I am a child of the 80s.
Just accept it.
I expect that later on we are going to butt heads, Gen X and millennials, over a largely Gen X property. Although I'm sure millennials got into it with the cartoons and like the aughts.
We claim all things nostalgic.
Yeah. But first, we have a segment that we start off with sometimes now, and it's called Hot Take Cody. Hot Take. Cody, what's your hot take today?
My dear friend Millie Alcock.
Oh, Supergirl.
Supergirl. She is in the news. And my hot take is she's absolutely 100% correct.
Okay, tell us. You got to fill us in here.
The reason she's in the news is because she recently called out a group of trolls. Mm-hmm. And people are like, oh, this is going to tank Supergirl. Because what she said was, I have faced a lot of backlash, but it's Christian dads of like 4 children or more. And
what's the backlash?
Well, because
as a Christian dad of more than 4 or more, I would love to know this backlash because I'm clueless.
The backlash is that she's supposedly just targeting Christian dads.
But that's what she said.
Yes, but people are like, well, if she's targeting Christians, then we aren't going to watch this movie. That's the backlash.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's just Christian dads.
Yes.
She probably could have tightened it a little even more, I think, probably. Because I don't know any Christian dads that care.
That is valid. But I think as Christians, there should not be this like, oh, we're all up in arms about this. What you should do when you hear comments like this is stop and think, is that something that I have personally participated in? How does that reflect on my faith, my value system? Am I living up to the standard that Jesus and his teachings have taught me? And if it's not something that I personally have participated in, is it something that like my church or people that I am in fellowship with participate in? And what does that mean for us?
I thought it was mostly Zack Snyder people. That's all I see.
So, yeah, I mean, the Snyder fans are going to Snyder fan. But I think that it's just this portrayal of Supergirl. That, like, oh, she's struggling with clearly maybe an alcohol problem. That she's rough around the edges. This isn't the Supergirl that was in the Christopher Reeves movies or movie.
There's only one, and it wasn't Christopher Reeve, wasn't even his movie. So
Yeah.
she never appears in any of the Christopher Reeve movies.
Yeah, but I mean, like that time frame.
Yeah, see, if they say something like that, then I'm questioning their geek cred.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know how you think you could know what the story is if the movie's not out yet. Frankly, I think most of it, I don't think it's Christian dads per se. I think it's a group of people who just love trolling things.
Yes.
And maybe those two groups overlap. I don't know. But
Well, usually like some trolls you see like dad, Christian, strong man, like those sorts.
in the profiles.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you see that. And so like, I imagine she's clicked on some of these and is like, why are they bashing me?
I'm going to give everyone a lesson right now. You know those little titles that they have on the social media profiles where you can, people put their job titles, who they are, sometimes some pronouns, whatever. just because they're up there doesn't mean they're true. And especially when someone puts Christian on their titles there, I immediately raise an eyebrow. I'm like, it's funny you'd have to announce that because I think the Bible says you should just be that and people should just know.
Exactly.
That's how they'll know. Anyways, Lance is here. Lance, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You have thoughts on Supergirl?
I mean, yeah, I saw the preview. It definitely looked interesting.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on in that preview.
Yeah, it's so like as far as comic book fans go, and especially older comic book fans like we would be, this might actually be more of a change, as Cody was kind of alluding to, because the material this is taken from happens after our sweet spot.
Yeah.
Supergirl is Woman of Tomorrow. Is that the name of the comic book series? So this comes from a little bit after. I think it looks great visually. I think checks most of the boxes I'm looking for in a Supergirl. Like, she seems like she's really good. I like what I see in the trailers. So I'm just kind of ready to see the movie. I do see a lot of Zack Snyder fans attacking it, but those are just trolls. Like, they are just straight up trolling, making fun of her looks, which I think is reprehensible. Like, first of all, I think it's funny for any dudes to like pretend she's not a good looking person.
What are they making fun of with her looks?
I don't know.
What is there to make fun of?
But that's what these it's just an excuse. The Zack Snyder fans just want an excuse to really go in on it and say that everything was better under Zack Snyder, because they're secretly hoping that someone's going to bring the Snyderverse back.
It's too far gone.
Yeah, they're not bringing it back, y'all. Just give it up. Quit trolling. Quit looking at it with a critical eye, so you can pick something out to troll on and just see if you might enjoy it.
If the dog doesn't make it, I'm out.
Have you seen Guardians 3?
I'm out.
I'll bet the dog makes it. He's not killing off Crypto.
I hope not. Too soon.
I'm out.
All right, you guys want to play the movie game?
Sure.
All right, let's play the movie game.
I love embarrassing myself. Are we doing thousands or millions of people? What do we got here?
Okay, so basically, Lance is a
Billions.
first timer here. So this is his first time playing the movie game. So I got to drop the knowledge on him. Essentially, Lance, I'm holding 3 Rotten Tomato movie profiles in my hand. Okay. A certified rotten one with a low score, a mid-range one, mediocre, and then a certified fresh movie that was good, critics received well. And you, in a second, are going to get to choose which one you would like to solve. Then there are 5 flights, basically, where you get a guess. Are you ready?
Yes.
So it's not a complete loss if you make it to a level 5.
I'm thinking I need all 5.
We have had plenty go to level 5 and then go to a tiebreaker.
Oh.
So, don't worry about it if it's but I think these are movies that I think you might know.
Okay.
So, which one would you like to try and solve?
Full Rotten.
He's going.
Oh, thank goodness.
He's going trash.
Here's why. I feel like the trash movies are actually ones that I sometimes like.
Okay. All right.
I don't know why. I think I disagree with
I'm going to tell
Tomatoes
you,
a lot.
Flight 1 looks good for you.
Okay.
If you're just joining us here on the podcast and you didn't listen to Lance's first appearance, Lance is my age. Lance is a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
So the year for this movie is 1987.
87.
The critic score is 20%.
Okay.
Now you're just throwing a dart here.
Oh my gosh.
You're just trying to see if you can get lucky.
That's the only hint I get?
That's Flight 1. If you solve it on Flight 1, it's not that one, Cody. If you solve it on Flight 1,
87.
you will join a rarefied air group.
Flight of the Navigator.
That's a solid guess, but it's not that one. Level 2, the second build actor, Kim Cattrall.
Oh.
Kim Cattrall. So, yeah, she's a known actress.
Okay, I recognize
Especially
the name,
in
but
the 80s.
I'm not seeing who's she again? Remind me.
We can't give you hints. We can't tell you other movies she's in because then we're eliminating those
That's
movies.
True.
I mean, if you get to level 4, I'll tell you what TV shows she was in.
This is probably wrong because it's a Tom Hanks movie and he gets up. Big? Was she in Big? She wasn't in Big.
Not
right?
in Big, I don't think.
Know. Okay.
Level 3, the audience score. Audiences liked it better. It's 55%. So usually this is where I say just guess another Kim Cattrall movie. But you're
But
struggling.
I'm struggling with the movie she was in. I don't know.
Okay. Level 4, this is the top build actor. This is where a lot of people get it. Okay, so you would be right in the average range if you hit this. The top build actor is Andrew McCarthy, if you remember Andrew.
See, but I'm terrible with names.
So
He was in the Brat Pack.
I was going to say Kim Cattrall was in Sex and the City.
Yes.
She was not Sarah Jessica Parker.
She was the
See, and I've
the other
never
girl.
seen Sex in the City, so that helps none. Zero help, Cody.
Okay, so we got Kim Cattrall and Andrew
jeez.
McCarthy. Oh man, you must not have had HBO growing up.
No, I did not. No, we did not.
This movie was all over that.
Like, I had friends who had it, and so I'd get to watch it occasionally, but no, we did. We had 3 channels.
I'm
had the
pretty
antenna.
sure Starship's We Built This City maybe was on this soundtrack
Oh,
originally, or it could have been the other one they're famous for.
okay.
We'll build this thing together, standing strong for nothing's gonna stop us now. That's
Yeah.
Starship, right? Okay. Okay. You don't have an answer. Are you ready
No.
for the blurb?
Yeah, you better give me the blurb.
Here we go. A department store dummy is possessed by the spirit of an ancient Egyptian, but she only comes to life when she's alone with the sculptor who created her.
I mean, I feel like I've seen it when I was younger, but
Yeah.
cannot name it. I lose.
The name of the movie is Mannequin. Mannequin. There was a
Yeah.
Mannequin too.
What?
Yeah. This
I
movie
shouldn't have
made
picked
enough
the-
money that they made a Mannequin too. Andrew
Shouldn't have
McCarthy
picked the
was
wrong
pretty
one.
big around this time. So Andrew McCarthy was in Weekend at Bernie's.
I was going to say they made a Weekend at Bernie's too.
Okay.
Yep. They made a Mannequin too as well, just without Kim
Okay.
Cattrall.
I just don't know how you make a Weekend at Bernie's too.
Well, I never watched it, so someone who watched it would have to tell me, because I remember when I was younger thinking the same thing. I was like, well, I mean, he'd be decomposing by now. How they keeping Bernie fresh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, okay.
All right, so Cody,
Speaking of fresh,
all you got to do is solve it. You're going to go fresh?
I'm going to go fresh.
All right, Cody, the year is 1991, and it's a 96% critical score.
Dances with Wolves.
It is not Dances with Wolves. Solid guess, though. Second build actor, Anthony Hopkins.
Oh.
Silence of the Lambs.
It is Silence
I hate
of
you.
the Lambs.
I should have picked that one.
Yeah, sometimes it works out that way. Sometimes it works out that way. But
Man.
it did not work out for you today. Mannequin's tough.
Yeah. Like, I know I have seen it on TV, but I have never watched that movie before. So,
Although, for the trash, I mean, Mannequin's a lot better than, like Freddy Got Fingered.
yeah.
It's like, I wouldn't have remembered that Tom Green movie, but I'd have remembered Mannequin. All right. We watched Masters of the Universe. We're going to go talk about it,
He-Man.
as he said.
Bum, 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 bum.
That's it.
Did you hear it at the end of the movie?
I did.
They threw it in.
All right. We're going to go talk about it. All right, Cody. This movie, since we talked about the old one last week, 1987's Masters of the Universe.
I really thought that was going to be the movie game one.
That would have been 2 on the nose, I think. But I may have said something about this last week. But this is a fandom that was special to me as a kid, as I talked a little bit about the Christmas gift I think I received, Castle Grayskull. I may or may not have been known to hold sticks that I pretended were swords aloft and screamed by the power of Grayskull. And then, you put it down in both hands, but I have the power.
You did that better than He-Man did that.
The new He-Man or Dolph? Dolph just says by the power of Grayskull, right? He doesn't say I have the power, does he? In the 1987
Or does he
version?
just say I have the power?
Or does he
says, "I
just say
have the
he
power."
says one or the other? He doesn't say both.
Yeah, which threw me off.
He is lame. He's lame. We're gonna give him a pass because he's Dolph, and we like Dolph.
He could probably still kick my butt.
We saw Masters of the Universe, the new one, out in theaters. You should know beyond this point, as you may have just heard right before we started talking, we're going to spoil this.
What?
So if you do not want to be spoiled, don't listen from to the rest of this podcast until you've seen the movie. But then make sure you come back and after you watch the movie and listen, because you're going to want to hear our thoughts on this, because I think we're going to run the gamut today. As judging by the pre-conversations we were having, I think there's stuff we liked. I think there's people who felt okay with the movie. There's people who don't feel okay with the movie. And we're going to get into that. And I think a lot of it, as it might play out, has to do with some generational stuff, which is always are more interesting conversations, Cody.
Yeah.
Because being of different generations, this is a movie that I think is definitely going to hit you differently depending on what generation you're in. So let's just get into it. Masters of the Universe, directed by Travis Knight of Bumblebee fame.
I actually did enjoy Bumblebee.
Yeah. Also the son of Phil Knight. Did you know that? Of Nike.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not Brandon Knight.
No. He is the son of the creator, the owner of Nike, or CEO, or however that works.
That explains a lot.
Harsh. We got a few different people on the screenplay here, starring Nicholas Galazatine as He-Man, Prince Adam. We also have Camila Mendez as Tila, so a couple relatively newcomers there in the starring roles. Jared Leto as Skeletor.
Yeah.
He did good.
Say it, Cody.
It's Morbin time.
It is Morbin time. Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms. Alison Brie as Evil Lynn. Morena Baccarin as the Sorceress. I didn't even know she was in this movie until I watched it. James Purefoy as King Randor, who I always remember as Mark Anthony in the Rome series on HBO, which he was wonderful in. So I was glad to see James Purefoy show up. And then Kristen Wiig was the voice of Roboto, of the robot.
That was funny.
That's awesome. I dig when they put famous people as voices of like robots or things like that, and then they don't make a big deal of it until the end. You see it in the credits. You're like, hey.
Yep.
That was kind of cool. So score by Daniel Pemberton, who also scored Project Hail Mary, which we reviewed and talked glowingly about. The runtime, 141 minutes.
I felt like I was watching the extended version of Lord of the Rings Return of the King.
We'll have thoughts on that too. We'll even have thoughts on PG-13. It's rated PG-13. I think this could have been a PG if they wanted it to be. Budget anywhere between 170 and 200 million.
Jeff has money.
Yeah. And it's 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. So critically, it is certified fresh as we sit here today.
That is so bananas.
I think it's all right. All right. So broad take. This is what we're going to talk about. First of all, Lance, being the guest here, were you into the He-Man toys at all?
100%. I had so many of the toys, and the cringe, the Battle Cat, had the Castle Grayskull, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The toys were great.
Oh, I had all of them.
I would expect, since me and you are roughly the same age, that yes, that would be the case. You had the toys. Yeah. I also had Cringer / Battle Cat. His armor came off. He could be Cringer, but then you put the armor on him and he's Battle Cat.
My sister had the She-Ra stuff too.
Princess of Power.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was one of the few things that we agreed upon.
Oh, nice.
We would play together.
Yeah. And you could play the joint stories just like they did the cartoons when He-Man and She-Ra would be together. Yeah. Cody, I think you may have talked about this already last week with the...
I had Battle Cat.
You did have Battle Cat?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so throughout, I'm like, where's his armor?
Yeah.
Yeah. You ain't getting it, son.
He mentions it.
Not till the end.
That was funny. Next time I'm getting armor.
Let's talk about the box office a little bit. The movie opened yesterday as we're recording this, June 5th. So... It was tracking anywhere in between 30 and 36 million. I think you sent me something, Cody, this morning that said it was right in that range.
Yep.
30 to 36 million against a budget of 170 to 200 million. Oof.
And post-COVID theater, second week drop-off has been anywhere from 40 to 70% second week. So you got to hope that the global box office does really record numbers, or Toyline makes back that bank.
Yeah, I think, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about this as we move on, but I think one of the bigger mistakes they might make with this movie is who they're marketing this towards. Because I feel like you just said this is a summer blockbuster. And while I would agree, I think that's a mistake in marketing. They should have not spent so much on this movie and really aimed it at Gen Xers who grew up with the toys and the cartoon, and then remove some of the double entendres and the kind of jokes that would go over the head of most young kids anyways, and really bring this down from PG-13 to PG and aim it at kids. My young son loved this movie, even though there's plenty of jokes in it that he, like I said, he doesn't understand them, so they go over his head. But I think they tried to aim it at a wide swath instead of really who would have got the most out of this movie, I think. And I think the reason is maybe because of Barbie, and we're going to get into that, to Mattel's Cinematic Universe. They may just misjudge why Barbie was successful, and then misjudge that not everything can be applied in the same way.
No, and especially if you don't have a writer and director that's their skill set. Like Greta,
yeah,
she can go meta.
So Greta Gerwig, yeah, maybe pulls off just a miracle that she can pull off.
Yes.
Not that the movie as written and its material was so amazing and wonderful. Maybe it's just Greta as the director.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, yeah, acting like you can just apply this to your other properties. Barbie is maybe set up to work that way, being that Barbie was so much based in this like 50s female environment, which obviously does not really exist anymore.
No, not at all.
And so being meta with that environment and this whole female empowerment narrative just kind of works, because that is, the toy itself lived in a world that was antiquated and it doesn't exist anymore. And so that all works. You try to apply that to He-Man, the creators of this movie and the stars in it mentioned multiple times how this movie is like a commentary on toxic masculinity, which I don't know about you, Lance, but as I'm watching this yesterday, when I was reading the interviews, I did a lot of research after I watched the movie. I don't like to do it before because I don't like to have it sway me. I didn't get that at all from the movie. Like, I get that he's sensitive, Prince Adam. I get that he's not manly in the classic sense, but that's also because he doesn't have a father.
Yeah.
His father is inattentive, then he grows up on Earth without one. So to me, this isn't a commentary on toxic masculinity. This is a commentary on growing up without a dad.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
And how that has a negative effect on a young man.
Yeah.
So maybe from the Prince Adam perspective, yes. But I think when you look at Idris Elba's character and the king, that their parenting style, because you get it, is...
Yeah, rub some dirt on it, guy.
Yes. And that might be their... Yeah, we're really tackling toxic masculinity by painting these guys as the worst.
Well, and Skeletor, too. So Skeletor just wants power. And he's very, like, in that classic toxic sense.
Yeah, especially his interactions with Evelyn,
Yes.
if he leaves marks.
Yeah, so he's abusing someone that clearly is in some sort of relationship with him.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here and debate over if they have like an adult relationship or not. But they clearly are showing her character is literally a stand-in for like an abused female portion of the relationship.
Yeah.
Where she obviously has affection for him. And she's not leaving because of that. But yeah, so it's there. I just don't know that it all fits together very well. Because it doesn't, the material you're starting with doesn't lend itself to that. Like Barbie lent itself to where you wanted to go.
Yeah, I also think you could have reduced it to just the Skeletor Evelyn storyline.
Yes.
And it might have been a lot more effective. But again, there's a lot of stories and tones of storytelling that are mismatched and don't actually connect.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's a jumble here. There wasn't clear creative force starting in the middle that was unified. It just is jumbled, I think, from the beginning, and it kind of ends up jumbled. So it's tracking for 30 to 36 million. Scary Movie 6 opened this weekend. It's tracking 50 million, which how the heck is that possible?
Bananas.
Did anybody like the Scary Movies? Who likes these movies?
So it falls in the same category as Anchorman and Talladega Nights, that there's things that are quotable from them and certain scenes that you're like, take my strong hand. And like,
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's from the very first one, right?
People laugh at those, and there's always at least one or two scenes, one or two lines, and they're like, this is mind-numbing entertainment. We're okay with it. I'm shocked that it's trending that high, but that might also say something about where we're at as a society.
Yeah.
Versus this actually being good quality entertainment.
Yeah. And so if that ends up near 50 million and He-Man ends up where it ends up, or Masters of the Universe ends up with that ends up, then you factor in A24's horror hit Backrooms.
Obsession got extended for its theatrical run, and Mandalorian and Grogu still out.
35 million is what Backrooms is projected to get this weekend, and Obsession another 21 million, which Obsession's been out. This is its fourth week out, so if it makes 21 million, that's great. I think the real issue here is the Masters of the Universe is a movie that could end up in first or all the way down in fourth or fifth place, and you wouldn't be shocked. But I think if it ends up in fourth place, which is what it looks like it might be tracking for, it's in trouble.
Also, bananas that you have a movie that was made for like $875,000.
Yeah.
Still be second or third a month past its release date and make almost as much as the $175 million movie its debut week.
Yeah. Also, side note, I've seen Backrooms. I thought it was good. I think it's worth watching. Although it's almost reading some of the commentary online, it's almost made for newbies, rather than if you were like really into the lore of the YouTube stuff.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of those people be disappointed. But for me, it was freaky and kind of weird, but it's been in my head. It's one of those movies that stays in your head for a while because you're trying to figure out what's exactly going on, and they don't connect the dots for you. It's one of those movies, and I like that, so I enjoyed it. But yeah, so this is a soft start for Masters of the Universe for sure. For a $200 million swing, the studio needed a Project Hail Mary kind of debut, and they're not getting it. And the film does have appeal for like my young son's age group, but they didn't market it that way. And so this might be a common theme. I think the marketing is just not very good. They didn't aim it at the right people. Let's talk about the road to the movie. This is just had a long, winding, terrible road. Sony first acquires the rights in 2009, 17 years ago. The project cycles through directors and writers for years with nothing landing. The Nee brothers were attached to direct from April 2018. Netflix briefly held the rights for a while and then canceled in 2023 after spending $30 million on development.
Wow.
Amazon MGM picks it up, and in May 2024, Travis Knight officially replaces the Nees in the director's chair. But part of this story is still credited to the Nees. The screenplay is still credited. There are two of the names on it. So,
okay.
He just kind of takes over the story and maybe changes it slightly, but
that also makes sense as well.
Knight himself is an interesting pick. He's the founder of Leica and directed Kubo and the Two Strings, and then made his live action debut with Bumblebee, which was a good movie.
Quality.
But he comes from stop motion animation. And as I said, he's Phil Knight's son, the Nike founder. I don't know that that's important information, but certainly he grew up with opportunities.
Means he had some nice shoes growing up.
And presumably every Jordan ever made.
Yeah. Not another pair.
So yeah, this is kind of a jumbled thing. Now, before we get to like the review of the movie, there's one other thing we have to talk about, and that is the Mattel Cinematic Universe. And I'm not making that up. That is literally a thing that Mattel is pursuing, and it starts with Barbie. Because Barbie was successful.
Right.
So Robbie Brenner, who is the president of Mattel Studios, who produced Barbie, was an executive producer of Barbie. She has 16 plus other projects in development.
Whoa.
16. I wouldn't have guessed there were 16 other properties that Mattel Toys had.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But
her exact quote, Barbie blew the doors open for us. So Masters of the Universe is the first real test of whether a Mattel Cinematic Universe is a thing or not. or whether Barbie's a one-off Greta Gerwig miracle.
I was going to say, if He-Man was the test, what grade do you think it's getting right now?
I don't know. It's rough because here's the thing. It's critically well received.
Okay.
I think, what I'm going to say is I think when I watched this, I thought it was a fun movie and I had fun. I think what you're going to hear from Cody is that he didn't like it and he thinks it's a misfire. And what I'm going to say is we might both be right in the sense that I just don't think they aimed this very well.
Well, and if I can interject real quick, I'll be honest. I was not planning on going to watch it in the theaters until you said, hey, can you come on my show and review this movie?
Okay.
And so then I said, hey, Mindy, guess what? We're going to go watch Masters of the Universe. And she said, why would I do that?
But that's
a fair question.
That's important information given that you're a Gen X who had the toys and loved the cartoon.
I did, but I was going to wait till it came out online or movie or whatever, DVD.
But I think that's because I think marketing-wise, they marketed this at millennials.
It was a bad idea.
It looked so phenomenal in the trailer.
And they marketed it in such a weird way. None of the campiness is in the trailers.
Yeah.
It's a straight up He-Man movie.
That surprised me.
According to the trailer. But this movie is camp.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely camp.
Oh, man.
And so it's weirdly marketed. They marketed at, I think they really thought that this was another Barbie. And so they marketed it at all the wrong places instead of, where does Gen X hang out? I don't know what that is. Is that CBS? I don't know. Where do we hang out?
Whatever it is, Facebook?
Lots of Facebook ads, man. Because there should have been a lot of marketing. And I know that for my part, I just didn't see a lot of marketing.
Yeah.
So
it was only before a couple movies that I went and watched in theaters. That's the only place I really saw it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You're just dying to know what's in store for the Mattel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Hot Wheels.
Care Bears.
They don't own Hot Wheels. It's Matchbox, which is the Hot Wheels.
Yeah, they don't own Hot Wheels.
Gummy Bears. The movie.
Matchbox, starring John Cena and Jessica Biel, directed by stuntman Sam Hargrave, described as gritty and grounded take on the toy cars. So they're going to make a Fast and the Furious movie with no camp about a toy car.
That's a terrible idea.
I don't know. With Cena, you might go camp.
Of course you go camp. Why wouldn't you go camp? I'm prepared to say after watching this movie that I actually think they made the right decision on how to make the movie. I think everything after was the problem. You marketed it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
You marketed it to the wrong people. And this tells me you're going to do the same thing with Matchbox, except for you're going to start earlier and think you are making something you shouldn't. I think a lot of these 80s movies can be redone. These 80s properties can be redone if you make them campy.
Jessica Biel still acts?
Apparently.
Who knew?
Polly Pocket.
Hey.
Starring Lily Collins. It's being produced by Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine. Not a lot of information about that. This is the crazy one. This is nuts, Cody.
I'm here for it.
A Barney movie by A24.
Yes.
Written by Ayo Edebiri from The Bear and produced by Daniel Kaluuya. So you've got Oscar pedigree creative team and an A24 movie about a purple dinosaur that talks and loves you.
This is going to be so bananas.
Is that going scary? What are we doing with that? I don't know, but I'm in for it. Before you even say another word, I'm like, A24? Okay. Barney? Okay. And then you Edebera? Kaluuya? Okay, I'm in. I don't know. I have no idea where you're going with this, but I'm interested. Oh, you're right. Hot Wheels is owned by Mattel.
Oh, hey, look at me.
Because there's also a Hot Wheels movie in development.
Yeah, I know things.
Directed by John Chu, who directed the Wicked movies, and produced by J.J. Abrams.
No. No. No.
Monster High.
Oh, yeah.
Directed by Gerard Johnstone, who directed Megan, apparently.
Yeah.
That's a Universal. Is Monster High? I feel like that's a 90s girl thing. Does that hold up at all?
No, it's still a thing.
Is it still a thing? Okay.
Yeah, with some of my kids that I see, they do mention Monster High.
A Magic 8-Ball TV series directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh my!
I was going to say you have to go supernatural horror with that.
Yeah, that strikes me as something they're going to go Twilight Zone with, where they're like individual standalone stories.
Yeah. M. Night might be a good choice. I don't know.
That's just crazy enough to work, I think. Rock'em Sock'em Robots starring Vin Diesel.
Didn't we already get that with Pacific Rim?
Didn't we already get that with Real Steel and
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman?
with Hugh Jackman.
Like, yeah, either way you want to spin that, feels like that's been done.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
American Girl, some American Girl live action feature, which is sort of cheating because American Girls has had a lot of live action features. They're usually just straight to video.
Yeah.
There better be a Flash Gordon movie in there somewhere.
There is not, but there is an Uno movie being developed. Which
Can you stack the
how
draw
in the world
forward?
does that work? That's a card game.
Is it a
great.
supernatural thing as well?
It's partnered with TriStar
Uno,
Pictures.
the
That's all I
movie.
got. There's no information on Uno. A Barbie animated feature is moving forward at Illumination, which is a big studio. That's
Yeah.
the Minions and all that. So that's, got some pedigree. A Viewmaster movie? Do we need a Viewmaster movie? That's got to be horror, right?
Again, I don't know.
You know, Dave, the farther you go down this list, the more I just keep thinking the only reason I want to see these movies is the same reason that I want to look at a car accident as I drive by.
There's no nostalgic value in some of these, right?
Just because I wonder how, why, what this is going to be
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, again, I think they're thinking in terms of we can just Barbiefy all of these things, which I think what we're going to talk about today in Masters of the Universe is clearly that's not going to work. Just because I may have had a Rock'em Sock'em Robots toy that I even loved, but it was a game, doesn't mean I want a movie with Vin Diesel.
No.
I have no interest in that. So that's weird. But those are the projects.
Hey, good luck, Mattel.
Unless it's a Fast and Furious crossover. And then sign me up.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the movie. Let me give the broad overview here. Essentially, Masters of the Universe is about a young prince in a very idyllic world called Eternia, where everything seems to be going great, but there are evil elements, and those evil elements attack, led by Skeletor, and the young prince is jettisoned off to Earth to protect him, where he grows up and then finds his way back to a destroyed homeworld where he has to fight the evil forces of Skeletor to win back the day and his home. And so that essentially is Masters of the Universe. Lance, give us something you thought was good about the movie. What's good?
What's good?
Yeah.
The nostalgia was super good. They were spot on with the nostalgia, from the costumes to the characters, with the exception of one that I know we're going to talk about later. But I mean, all of the other, it was just the vehicles, the CGI with everything, and I mean, it was, yeah. You know, when you've got Ram Man doing what I made Ram Man do as a kid,
Right.
Yes, I was all about it.
Yeah. The downfall of the 1987 movie, as we talked about last week, was that it abandons Eternia,
Yeah.
guts the lore, it dumps the cast on Earth.
Just a couple of the characters.
Yeah,
You
all
know.
the characters are skipped entirely.
Yeah.
This movie kind of does the opposite. You got tons of the cartoon characters. You got real Eternia, real fan service going on. Some of it in a winking way, some of it not.
Yeah.
But the group laughing scene from the cartoon is at the end.
That was hilarious.
Which was wonderful. Yeah, where they
And it was
have
just
their fists on
and
their
they're
hips
leaning
and they're leaning
back.
back. Yeah.
And it was obvious. Like, even if you'd never seen the show, like Mindy had never seen the cartoon, and she said, that's got to be from the cartoon, right? Yeah.
And he even has the learning moment at the end. with
yes.
a cameo from Orko.
Which can we just pause for a second in our movie review and say there's a reason why our generation is one of the best.
Oh.
Because
We're going full Gen X appreciation here.
And I'm sorry, Cody. When I went back and watched all the old cartoons are on Amazon, by the way.
Yep.
65 episodes, season 1. 65. It's crazy how many episodes they have. At the end of every episode, moral of the story.
Yep.
So our generation yes, they marketed these cartoons to sell toys. Yes, they marketed them because they wanted to sell commercial time. But at the end of the day, they were preaching a positive message to kids. And if you didn't get it as a kid watching the show, they spelled it out for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they were all like that.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe had,
Yeah.
and now you know. And
Now you know.
knowing's half the battle. Yeah. So a lot of our cartoons, had the moment at the end where what did we learn? What did we learn? And it being delivered by Orko was
and
a nice
they did it. And I was like, where's
cameo.
Orko? Where's Orko the whole time during the movie? Where's Orko? Because he wasn't in the 1987 one. And boom, there he was.
So Orko's a weird thing too, because Orko is not actually a part of the original toy line. He's a creation of the cartoon.
Right.
So it's weird that there's some kids who grew up thinking, oh, Orko is just a part of He-Man. Well, he really kind of wasn't until the cartoon, which there's not a whole lot of time the toys don't overlap with the cartoon, but they do.
Did you have an Orko?
I did not have an Orko. Did not have that.
Sorry, Dave.
But yeah, so the director has been public about all of this from the start, wanting to be true to the original. He grew up on the cartoon. Jared Leto grew up on the cartoon, and they treated the assignment like a love letter. That was their words. So I think you do feel those choices in the movie. So it checks the nostalgia box for sure.
Absolutely.
Cody, what's good?
Well, I was going to say the cartoon laugh at the end, but you took that. I'll go with the visuals. If we're going to compare the 1987 and this one, this is what Avatar was projected or claimed to be, that like, oh, the most visually stunning movie ever. This was super visually stunning. Like they captured that, even the look of Skeletor, because that's all CGI.
Yeah.
Besides like the muscle suit,
He looks great.
that like I'm like, hey, this is how I envision Skeletor and his staff, and Eternia isn't just a sand dune.
Yes.
Because that's what it was in 1987.
Yeah.
The projection in the sky was a lot better than the 1987 one. And so visually, I was here for that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It looks great. So they didn't skimp there. That's probably a part of the budget of why the budget's so high. I'm going to say the camp itself. We've mentioned it a couple times. I think if you're going to redo an 80s property like this, especially, that was a property like this is always going to have trouble holding up in the present day. I think you have to lean into the camp, have fun with it. And this movie does, while still having the stakes. The stakes are still there. Cobra Kai did this. The Fall Guy movie did this. And Barbie did this. Okay, so Barbie, you take what is a pretty thin, old, antiquated premise, and you lean into the campy parts of it. But Barbie also did something else that this movie aimed for that this movie doesn't hit, which is this appeal to the broader masses through having something to say.
So not Alan.
Not Alan, no, but Alan was great in Barbie movie. I think you could remake other 80s properties. So after I got done watching this movie, I was like, what else could you do in a total campy way? Like Knight Rider, except for maybe the car's fully self-aware now, like AI.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. The Last Starfighter.
Oh.
Where there's a running gimmick.
Oh, now you're getting deep.
Yeah, where there's a
This is
running
at my
gimmick.
core.
Because they recruited with arcade games.
Yes.
How do you do that now?
Yeah.
Because kids don't even play like with the sticks.
Yeah.
It's the controller. Do they have to have a ship where the controller is like a gamepad?
And you were hoping, like every kid of our generation was hoping that they would get somebody to pull up and say, hey, I need you to come save the planet and fly a starfighter. Right?
Right. So that movie already has just the thinnest layer of camp already.
Yeah.
But like, what if you went full on camp on a remake of some of these movies?
I would buy tickets to that.
What about a Red Dawn remake, full camp?
No.
Yeah.
Give it a shot, Cody.
No. I've seen it. I don't need it.
No. They played it straight up.
Yes.
That was a mistake.
Nope. You already have the 80s version. You're not going to top Swayze.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Leave Swayze alone. I agree, Cody.
Thank you.
All right. You might not be wrong about that part. Lance, what else is good?
The Skeletor laugh.
That's a little camp, too.
It's so camp. And if you go back, he's always laughing in the show. Like he's always, I watched a few episodes just to see, because they're only about 20 minutes long, and he laughs all the time. The guy's just full of joy. I mean, he really is. He's got the joy down in his no existent heart. But the fact that they put that in the movie and he laughs so much, and sometimes too much, where everybody's just standing around like, why are you still laughing?
Yeah, the part
awesome.
The part at the very beginning of the movie where he does the maniacal laugh, and
he
then
keeps
like
going.
they're all just like awkwardly looking at him, and then he gets kind of deflated, like, guys, that's when you laugh too.
Yeah. Oh, and then another thing. So the robot, what was her name that Kristen Wiig played?
Roboto.
Okay, I loved the Roboto humor. It really made me think of the K2 robot from Rogue One.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the same. That same kind of. I love that humor. It was great.
There's a lot of beats in this movie that feel, I don't want to say lifted, because that gives you a negative connotation. I feel like they're copied, but they make it just enough of their own thing not to make it feel blatant.
Well, it's like I got a lot of Thor Ragnarok in there.
Yeah,
when they hear
Eternia, the town, or what's the name of the city? Eternos.
Yeah.
I think is definitely very Asgardian. Yeah.
Well, and then when they played the Queen song, here
Right.
we are, and then they.
Okay.
Oh, that was.
But so that's not Ragnarok. You can't credit them with that. That's Flash Gordon.
Yes. I was gonna say that's the other pull was from Flash Gordon.
There's a lot of space opera Flash Gordon type moments.
But I love that moment.
Yes.
And then when they started coughing, that was hilarious because of the smoke.
If I might rebut that just a little, though.
Yeah.
The problem is, do it the whole movie.
Right.
Why do we just get that at the end with the Queen needle drop? And like, no.
Yeah.
Give us... It's just like I think my overall thing about this movie is just a mishmash.
Did it feel clunky?
At times.
Like the humor was like maybe they should have just stuck and made it a cool scene with the music and a cool montage of just beating up all the bad guys, but they had to throw that humor in there and it just made it clunky. Is what you're saying.
So I don't know. There's a lot of people involved with this movie. I think this movie could have done with, I don't know if they even have this position, but someone who's just a storyteller who understands how stories work and understands that you need to have a cohesive, unanimous center to your story that runs throughout.
Yeah.
Because it feels mismatched.
Well, I think the knees dropping out, but keeping some of their stuff or a lot of their stuff, and Night then coming in, it can't be completely his vision. No. And I feel like, so the complaints that people said about the Marvel Disney Plus Daredevil series with season 1, like, I didn't notice it as much as, like, diehards were like, oh, you can tell this was from the first people and that this is the reshoots. And that's what I felt like watching this. That, like, oh, who's telling this story? And do they have multiple personalities? Because it's all over. But that's another
let's
point.
stick with what else is good. Is there anything else you liked about
fighting scenes? Like, Kid Me would have loved the fighting because you actually see Adam turn into He-Man and start fighting.
Yes. And it's perfect, by the way.
Yes.
It's great.
Like, they choreographed the fight scenes really well. He was going all machismo He-Man on his own for a while. And then, like in the cartoons, you need the team. And so, yes, I was here for that.
Yeah.
I thought Nicholas Galzatine was good. I thought he's in my what's good category. I thought he was charming. And when he becomes He-Man, he seems capable, as you were just kind of pointing out.
He's a good actor.
Which is really the only bar he needs to clear. Like, can you be charming enough as the kind of mild, mousy Adam and then be masculine and, a capable action hero type guy as He-Man? And I think that's all he needed to do. And I think he clears that bar. He's kind of a younger, lesser known actor. He's done a couple of things where he was like the heartthrob type guy. And so I thought this was a test that he passes. And I'm looking forward to see what else he does. Anything else good from you guys?
Not from me.
Because I have one more. For me, it's the sword swerve is what I'm calling it. So knowing that the cardinal sin of the 1987 movie was ignoring the sword of power. This movie does something actually very clever. And I would be really interested to know whether it was the knees, who wrote the original screenplay stories or if this is something added in, because I think this is actually really smart. They actually trick the viewer into thinking the sword is everything, which is like the opposite of the 1987 movie. The whole story builds around getting it, holding it, wielding it. And then there's this weird pivot. The sword breaks at the end fight between him and Skeletor. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? Well, there was a point to this. There's this climactic moment that goes deeper than it has any right to in this movie, honestly. Yeah, and we'll get into that later because I'm going to talk about it in deeper themes, so I don't want to get into it too much here. But there's just a swerve with the sword and where the power comes from that I wasn't expecting, but I actually think it's really smart. So, what's bad about the movie, Lance?
Adam's character.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's on my list too.
It hurt, you know? I mean, from the whole who he was on Earth, which was just either take time during the movie to develop his existence, the 15 years that he was on Earth, learning how to live on Earth and trying to find the sword. Either take the time to develop that or just don't do it at all. But don't do what they did, which was make it seem like he never learned anything in the 15 years on Earth. And so he's talking to a girl on a first date about his whole planet that he came from and his search for the sword. Why would you do that? And then also just even when he gets to when he finally goes back home and is so awkward talking to Tila, and I did not like that because if you go back to the cartoon, if they're trying to pay homage to the cartoon, in the cartoon it was kind of this, it was like this Batman, or it was like Superman Clark Kent kind of thing, you know, where only a few people knew he was He-Man, nobody else did. So when he wasn't He-Man, he was Adam, but what he was doing was on purpose to try and hide his secret identity. And in the movie, he was just kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, they did make a joke about that, by the way.
Yeah,
where he walks away, where he's still thinking that nobody knows,
right?
And they're like, he knows everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
And again,
I hate that they did that.
Yeah.
Because anybody else, like everybody's seen me turn into He-Man. I'm not going to hide it.
Yeah.
Right. But that bothered me big time.
What'd you think about the character of Prince Adam?
So I thought that was a dumb storyline. They could have done without Earth, honestly.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to address toxic masculinity, had him have a cruel father that was very neglectful throughout his whole life and have him be mousy because of that.
Yeah.
Like, you could have done that. I don't need any time on Earth actually in this movie. That would have saved a whole bunch of time and would have addressed, like, you don't talk about that on a date. For half the time.
He's been there 15 years. He wouldn't have learned this lesson by now?
I would have, I was waiting for them to say, Eternia is all in his head and he's actually having a mental breakdown.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, oh, okay. It would have been a weird take, but I would have probably been here more for it.
It is a psych ward.
It is very strange, as you said, Lance, that this dude's been on Earth for 15 years, and in the 15 minutes we get of him on Earth, he loses his job and has a disastrous first date based on things he would have learned within the first year he was there. Like, hey, maybe don't bring this up.
Yes.
People are going to think you're nuts.
And, if it's taking place in the 2020s, why hadn't you just searched up the sword earlier?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, listen, it's a He-Man movie. So character depth should never really be the headline. But if you're going, the problem is how they tell the story. Because if you're going to tell this story that's a Kal-El style story where a child of Eternia gets sent to Earth to save him, the one character who actually needs a development then is Adam. You actually have to develop this character now because it's important to the story. We see him crash down as a 10-year-old. Then we cut to him working corporate America as an adult, and the whole middle is missing. And it appears he hasn't really learned anything.
Yeah.
10 minutes of experience in the foster system would have changed everything about that character.
Well, and they could have really used that to develop his character and shown why he now has this whole belief of, I'm just not gonna beat everybody up. I'm actually gonna try and talk to him. Let's try and figure this out and let's get peace.
They give the viewer 10 minutes of him in the foster system, which can be very hard for kids. We would have cared more about his down on the luck, earthbound version of him. The whole payoff on the movie, by the way, is his character. Like, that's the payoff at the end. So the sword swerve moment is all about his character. The realization that the power isn't the weapon, that would have all landed way harder if we knew who Adam was. And that includes why he became the way he was. And the audience is left kind of wondering how he got to be the guy. And it's a missed opportunity.
Yep.
So yeah,
Agreed.
I think that's a good, that's my number one gripe. And you nailed it, Lance. Yep. What else is not bad, Cody? Or what else is bad?
I have a friend and his name's Daryl. And Daryl once said to me, soul really matters to me. And this movie had no soul.
Whoa.
First of all, can we just respect the Hall & Oates joke that just landed there?
Yes.
Let's give props to well done. Well done.
So for me, the campy moments didn't feel earned and they didn't feel in place. Like if you went full camp, because this movie tries to be serious, it tries to be funny, it tries to be this, it tries to be sad and heartfelt, and I'm like, stick with the theme for more than 5 minutes. But it kept bouncing all over the place, and I'm like, I can't do this. And the campy moments that I would love, because that's the nostalgia button for the millennials, you don't like let breathe. You don't let it be like, oh, this is the route the movie's going to go the whole time. It's like, okay, we're serious now. Now we're doing this campy moment. Wink. And it's like, okay, this is like bad WWE lame wrestler or WCW. Let's go Disco Inferno. I don't need disco. Disco serves a purpose. I know.
Wild Disco Inferno slander.
Yes, but that's what it makes me feel like this movie, and it's the cartoon laugh at the end I loved because that did feel earned by the time we get to the end. But early on, it's like, okay, we're trying to tell a serious story. We're having Adam be really weird. Now we're doing some campy stuff. Now we're back to serious. Now we're trying to make it a comedy. Now it's a space rock opera. I don't know what it is.
I think it's a fair critique.
Yeah.
We've already said it's jumbled. It feels jumbled, and I think it's a fair critique. My next thing on my what's not good list is going to piggyback on that. It's too long. Maybe because you did jumble the stories together instead of tightening it a little bit. The runtime is 141 minutes. That's too long. This movie would have been better at about 145.
Yes.
You trim 30 minutes off this because the good stuff that's in there is good. It's just spread too thin. The fun feels less concentrated than it should. I was just highly aware as I'm watching this movie that it could have been sharper. It could have been. There's really moments where it drags. The moment where they're in the woods hiding, where they're kind of playing up the romantic tension that never really pays off.
Never.
Between him and Tila. We don't need it. You're not going to pay it off anyways. We don't need it.
Yeah.
You're telling stories that are going to pay off 3 movies later instead of just telling us one good story now.
Yeah.
It's too long. It's too long. It just needed to be shorter. Anything else that you guys think isn't good?
So
I have a whole list.
Okay.
I just got one more thing, and this is I don't know why, but this bothers me when they do this in movies when it's super unrealistic. And I know it's a movie, I get it, I do, but within the realm of that universe. And here's what I mean by that: you look at Eterna, is that
Eternia?
Eternia.
Yeah.
You look at how it's completely destroyed, right? Skeletor just
Eternos. You're talking about the city.
Sorry, Eternos just destroys it. I mean, Adam, they're flying back, which, why would you fly back over the city so that somebody can spot you and follow you to your hidden lair?
That's
another.
That's literally why they did it, because it was in the script.
You're right, but
she even says, "This is dangerous. We're going to get spotted."
Here.
She was right.
Yeah, dummy. So, but anyway, so they're flying over. It's totally destroyed, right? Then they defeat Skeletor, and then 6 months later, it's back to looking the way it was. Bridges repaired, all the houses and buildings look brand new. 6 months? Really? That's all it took to fix up the city? Come on.
Attorney has got some industrial backbone.
No, that bothered me. Sorry.
Maybe the sorceress fixed it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point.
Okay, I have one more thing, and then I'll let Cody fast turbo style through his list because I know he's got more than me. I've just got one. Skeletor looks incredible. We talked about that a little bit. The CGI, the design of it all. I think he looks great. Then he opens his mouth. The voice is a miscue. The sound itself of the voice isn't the problem. It's not unpleasing to me. The issues is the acoustics and whatever accent Leto was using there. It sounds vaguely British. I lost it. I needed subtitles sometimes. I couldn't understand what he was saying. I missed lines because I couldn't understand it. And for a villain where this much screen time depends on that, the dialogue, it depends on the dialogue. It doesn't always land cleanly, and it reminded me of Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. You have to make sure that the dialogue lands more than, that should take precedence more than it's sounding cool.
So as I was watching this movie, I also was like, is he trying to do the Marlon Brando Godfather mouthful of cotton swabs?
Yeah, it was really weird.
Like cotton balls in, like, it was kind of mushy sounding at times. And I'm like, what are you doing, Jared?
Because sometimes he does sound like Marlon Brando. Sometimes he sounds British. Sometimes I didn't know what was going on with that.
It's funny because I disagree. I felt like it was fine, but it's funny you mentioned not understanding everything, because Mindy and I had this conversation, because he does that one thing where he's up in the sky and he's talking to him, and there's that funny line about butt worms.
Yeah.
Because he says something like, "You are but worms beneath my feet," or something like that, and then Man at Arms says, "Did he just call us butt worms?"
Yes.
And Benny and I were talking about that at home, and she's like, "Yeah, why did he call them butt worms?" And I was like, "Well, he didn't. It was just the way he said it."
Yes.
She said, "But all I heard was that he called them butt worms." Mm-hmm. So she was getting that too. She couldn't understand everything that he was saying,
and understand where he's projecting his voice and wanting to be heard. Those were the easier things to understand. Yeah. It's in the conversational stuff when he's like talking to Evelyn and he's just talking to her. He's not meant to be projecting.
I never had a problem, man.
I couldn't understand it.
My
it's not that I couldn't hear it.
Ears. I don't know.
I couldn't understand it. Maybe.
I'm a highly trained musician, so maybe that's the deal.
Bonus round us the rest of your list here.
Okay. So Tila and her dad, that dynamic, I hated it, but that's something that's me-centric because Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
I hated how she treated her parents.
Yeah. Hold on. She has no sympathy or empathy at all.
Yes.
For what has happened to him.
I'm like, either abandon him or start treating him with a little bit of respect. My goodness.
His whole life was built on protecting the king and queen who are now gone.
And she saw him get blasted. She saw it.
Yeah.
You're right. And then he saved her, by the way.
Yes.
Jumped through a window holding her in his arms.
Yep. No,
thanks, Dad.
I was so mad at that. Evelyn and Skeletor.
Yeah.
They seem to be on different scripts. Like she was all out like cartoon campy, and I was here for it. And I honestly think the movie works better if the villains are cartoon campy.
Yeah.
Where I thought he was trying his best to be like the Skeletor from the 1987 movie. They didn't match well.
Yeah. And I thought it was a her problem until you started talking about this. And I was like, because we talked about this before. And I think you're right. I think I just assumed it was a her problem because Skeletor felt so right to me. But what if Skeletor wasn't completely right? Like, what if it's more of a chemistry issue? Again, a mishmash issue rather than she was out of place. She wasn't out of place for the rest of the movie, but she was out of place next to Skeletor.
Yes.
You're right.
Honestly, replace Leto, please.
Okay, so recast it.
Yes.
Is that your recast it?
Let's
just go right into it.
I'm going to start recasting. Pay Mark Hamill. He did a phenomenal job in the reboot of the cartoon, and like he is a trained voice actor.
And can do camp while doing evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he's done the Joker. He's done this role. Let him do it. You had the money.
Yeah.
Pay him.
I don't understand why Jared Leto's a part of this movie.
The name.
And again, I'm not sitting here saying he did something awful. I'm just saying it doesn't really fit. I'm going to also recast Leto because again, I want to be sure that it's not Leto's fault per se.
I will say it's Leto's fault.
Cody's going to go all in on him. I think the issue is they had to manipulate his voice because his real life voice isn't all that commanding. for a character. This is one of those where like you could have got a voice actor and it probably would have been better off. So they have to manipulate his voice to make it sound cool and commanding. The problem is I feel like that makes him hard to understand. And so the fix for me is simple. And for the second movie review in a row, I am recasting Keith David as Skeletor.
All right.
And Keith David gets to be that role. And because his voice is commanding, far less manipulation is needed. You don't have to have that synthesized voice, if you know what I mean. That does a couple of things all at the same time. He still has gravitas because Keith David has gravitas.
He can do Shakespeare.
He's got one of the most commanding voices in the business. But it also plays up the camp side of it and makes him fit better with Eva Lynn because Keith David delivering villain monologues is its own form of fun. That's fun.
Yes.
And I honestly just don't understand how they didn't make that connection. Jared Leto, I am not going to throw him completely under the bus like Cody is. I just don't think he's right at all for the role.
I think he happens to be in one, like out of his like 10, every 10 movies, 1 or 2 of them are going to be good. And it's not because of him. That's where I'm at now.
Do you think it's because he knew the right people and he's a fan of He-Man?
Yeah, he was definitely a part of the production.
Right. And so that's how he got in.
He's essentially probably one of the producers.
Right.
Which is why he's in this movie.
Yeah.
And
Kinda
he loved it. He had a love for it.
Kind of like Ryan Gosling with
Project Hail Mary.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. It's time for Deeper Themes, The Pastor's Corner. Another movie where I'm just humming along, having a good time. I'm not really sensing any deepness in the movie. It's kind of shallow. The fun is fun. But then the sword swerve moment, the meaning starts to show up in this really big, deep way. Mandu and Grogu is like this for me, where I'm just kind of having fun with a popcorn movie and all of a sudden it's dropped in your lap. So after the swerve with the sword, the sorceress tells a beaten Prince Adam something really important. The sword was never the source of the power. He was chosen because of his understanding, his empathy, and his humanity, which sounds a lot like the qualities of a guy I know. His name was Jesus, not coincidentally. Prince Adam actually checks off most of the qualities that Jesus names in something called the Beatitudes. He's poor in spirit, he's meek, he is hungry for righteousness, he is merciful, and he is pure in heart, and he is persecuted. He carries all of these qualities the whole movie before there ever is any explanation where the real power is coming from. So the sorcerer's speech is just naming something that's already true. She said the power was in you the whole time. The audience doesn't see it because we're too busy looking at the sword, which I mentioned I thought was a genius little bit there. Then comes the line that really lands it for me in one of those qualities in particular, where he's fighting Skeletor at the end, where Skeletor makes something like, you're not that powerful and you don't know how to use this power. And he's like, no, I always was the power. I just chose not to use it. And then he uses it. But having power and not using it is literally meekness. That's the actual biblical definition of it. Meekness is power under control, strength that chooses restraint, and in this case, the meek shall inherit Eternia.
I see what you did there.
That's the lesson.
Wow.
All right. Lance, who's your winner of the movie?
Idris Elba.
Oh, he's so good.
I felt like he first of all, he looked like a black version of Man at Arms.
Oh, yeah,
right?
he was
In the
wonderful.
Cartoon is white, but like the way he portrayed the character and just his everything. I loved it. I was all in for Man at Arms.
Also, full stop in how race swapping a character is a fine thing to do when it stays true to the character.
Yeah.
Like, wonderful.
Yeah.
And Idris Elba, I mean, he could be swapped in for any other nationality of character and he'd probably make it work because he's just an incredible actor.
But yeah, that was mine. I loved it. He did great.
Yeah, I thought his character was very fun.
If I had said the cast for what's good, it would have been him and the sorceress.
Yeah,
but I did not.
You didn't say the cast?
No, I did not enjoy this cast.
Who's your winner of the movie?
4 non-blondes for the second week in a row.
Listen, it works.
Like
They play the song?
They played the song in the movie, And during the promotional stuff, they have the guy that plays Adam,
Nicholas Galsworthy,
do the dance to the meme or to the song, and I'm like, I'm here for it.
wearing a super corny blonde wig.
Yep.
Yeah, it was great. My winner of the movie is 80s Kids. We get our... take a bow, Cody.
Yeah,
take a
that's
bow.
me.
Born in 1989. No, we finally got our cartoon-accurate He-Man movie 39 years later, and I think that's the win. The Dolph Lundgren version is the only other live-action He-Man movie that has ever existed, but it ditches Eternia, it ditches most of the characters, all of the lore, and it dropped He-Man into suburban California. And for 39 years, that version was the movie that we got. And most 80s kids, let me tell you, hated that movie. We didn't really talk about that last week because we wanted to just talk about the movie, but most kids hated that
Citizen Kane.
So that's why it's a win for the kids who grew up on it. Not certainly because the movie is perfect by any stretch, but because it exists. And then getting the bonus joy of watching my youngest son enjoy the more cartoony version of it. That brought a lot of satisfaction for me in my heart because I felt like he got something I got out of it. Who's your loser of the movie, Lance?
Who's the actor who plays He-Man?
Nicholas Galsworthy. Did you not like him?
No, I loved him. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's a great actor and he's ripped, so he fits the He-Man character. I just feel bad for him because they could have given him a much better script, much better dialogue, much better character development. I mean, he did amazing with what they gave him, but they didn't give him much. Yeah. I feel bad for him. So
on a deeper level, could we say they actually could have Barbied this movie by giving the Prince Adam character on Earth a little more development?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it certainly could have been closer.
Yeah. It would have been awesome. It would have made the movie so much better if they had developed that time on Earth.
I wonder if they just didn't trust him because he's largely an unknown.
Just the way they had Adam react to certain things, like the whole thing at work, and then how he tried to give his corporate TED Talk speech to all the guys in prison. Yeah. It was just...
I forgot about that.
Come on.
I blocked it out.
We can do better than this.
I would love to see what ended up on the cutting room floor from this movie.
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah. This was originally a 4.5 hour long movie, Cody. You just don't know. Cody, who's the loser of the movie?
This one hurts. Allison Brie from Community.
Plays Evelyn.
She honestly did a good job. I think her and Skeletor could not be on the screen at the same time because they were doing two different things, and it took me out of the movie.
Yeah.
And people are going to blame her because
I did at
she's the
first.
more campy version or cheesy, and Jared Leto's the bigger name. But I'm attacking toxic masculinity and saying it's all Leto.
So they're going to be like, that's what we were aiming for.
What were you looking for in those two characters in their relationship?
What
would you want it to be?
Just that they fit better.
Yeah, like they didn't seem to have any chemistry. Where I felt like in the cartoon, like, they're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to play up the toxic masculinity of Skeletor, where he's an abuser, you got to make them mesh better. You have to be convinced that there is a relationship there.
That he will at least acknowledge her and like try to win her back after overstepping or crossing.
Yeah. What's the condition where someone kidnapped falls for their kidnapper? Like she has that.
Yeah. Stockholm syndrome. I feel like she has that problem on the screen. That's what it seems like when it shouldn't. That's a bad storytelling point. If you want to point as toxic masculinity, I need them to be on the same page.
Yeah.
I need that relationship to look more real from Skeletor's point of view so that when he goes abusive, it's much more powerful. My loser of the movie, Moss Man.
Oh.
One of my favorite toys in the He-Man line. I had him. He was fuzzy. He was green. He was almost like a He-Man Chia pet.
Yeah.
Because he actually had the green fur. And in this movie, he gets mulched.
R.I.P.
Literally mulched.
Yeah.
They say he mulched him.
He mulched him.
And that's the kind of cameos.
I'm like, you gotta let him do something if you're going to kill him off in the first movie.
Like the disrespect to Moss Man. Come on, man.
Like, have him do some cool things and then kill him off.
I mean, say what you want about the goofiness of his character. He's still a freaking master of the universe.
Yes.
Treat him as such. All right. How many power swords out of 10 are you giving this movie, Lance?
I'm going to give this one 6.5.
6.5. All right. Cody?
So I gave the 80s version on the cheese campy 80s scale.
You liked the 80s.
A 7.5 and said it was the Citizen Kane of cheese campy, meaning that like you watch it once and you have this nostalgic mystique to it, but you rewatch it and like you know what Rosebud is. It's ruined. You can't do it. So this was a solid 4.5.
Okay. Cody's an interesting. You got to give it. Cody is in his own place as a reviewer, because I think he usually ends up on the opposite side of where I'm at, or a lot of people would be at. I think when I think about this movie, after I walked out of the theater, I was more about a 7. As I've thought about it a little bit more, it's gone down to 6.5, 6, because I just see talking to you guys, I've just seen the holes a little bit better. So I'm going to go 6, 6.5, somewhere in there. It's good. It could have been much better, which is the disappointing part, but I'm not super disappointed either because my expectations.
Like if you made it a kid's movie where we're just battling and you just focus on the masters of the universe going against the bad guys, I would have given it probably an 8.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was here for.
The Barbie influence on this movie, I think overall is probably the problem.
Yep.
I think that's the problem. So we'll see. What did you guys think of Masters of the Universe? Do you agree with our takes? Do you disagree? Let us know on the social media posts that we drop for this episode. Also, you should be following us if you're not, or subscribe to the pod. Go do that, and we'll see you next time.